Summit host and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hailed the joint statement, highlighting the importance of free, fair and mutually beneficial trade and investment, and said the G7 would continue to fight protectionism. Mr. Trudeau added that the leaders held some strong, firm conversations on trade and specifically on American tariffs, which Mr. Trump is slapping on steel and aluminum imported to the U.S. from Europe, Canada and Mexico. Mr. Trump praised his fellow world leaders, then stunned them after he flew out of Quebec by announcing on Twitter that he had ordered his officials not to endorse the communiqué. He blamed Canadian tariffs on U.S. goods and false statements by Mr. Trudeau, saying the Canadian was so meek and mild during the summit, then hid out after he left, which Mr. Trump said was very dishonest. He takes an America first approach to trade and during the summit accused other countries of robbing the U.S. with their policies. Mrs. May, who he did not name as a leader he had a great relationship with, says his steel tariffs are unjustified. She said the EU would respond with countermeasures, but at the same time we need to avoid tit-for-tat escalation. She is due to host him on a visit to the UK next month and is keen to strike a post-Brexit trade deal with America. Theresa May is due to host Donald Trump on a visit to the UK next month. We all ought to be saying that free trade benefits everyone and protectionism hurts everyone, and I think that's the message from the UK. Dominic Raab before leaving Canada late on Saturday. She insisted UK relations with Mr. Trump and the US were very good. Downing Street said, "We stand by the commitments in the G7 communiqué." David Blittington, Mrs. May's de facto deputy, told BBC One's Andrew Marr, "I don't think a trade war does anybody any good. Everybody loses, so I think we need to work with the US and with our European partners and other powers like Japan to try to find multilateral solutions to this because I believe that ordinary families benefit from free trade." Housing Minister Dominic Raab told Sky News, "We all ought to be saying that free trade benefits everyone and protectionism hurts everyone, and I think that's the message from the UK." The French President's office said that international cooperation cannot be dictated by anger. In Berlin, German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas said Mr. Trump's opposition to the G7 communiqué was not a real surprise, given his record, including ending America's support for an international deal on Iran. "In a matter of seconds, you can destroy trust with 280 Twitter characters," said Mr. Maas. Aides to Emmanuel Macron said EU countries would maintain their support for the G7 communiqué. "Let's be serious and worthy of our people. We make commitments and keep to them," the French president's office said in a statement. International cooperation cannot be dictated by fits of anger and throwaway remarks. Mr. Trump's top economic advisor Larry Kudlow told CNN that Mr. Trump attended the summit in good faith, but Mr. Trudeau had stabbed us in the back with polarizing statements about U.S. trade policy.